What is going on, guys? In today's video I will show you the top 10 best builds in POE 3.27. So, Path of Exile's new update has shaken up the entire meta, and after hours of testing, grinding and watching builds melt bosses faster than they can finish their voice lines, I finally narrowed down to the absolute top 10 builds that are dominating this league. No matter if you're a hardcore min-maxer or just here to obliterate everything on the screen with minimal effort, then these builds are the best of the best. And on top of it, remember, if you're looking for any of these builds on the website for their path of building, then check my links in the description. And before we continue, thanks to U4GM, they are a pro website that provides Path of Exile services like cheap currency, then even to trade all types of top quality items and mirrors and much more. They also have more than 20,000 positive comments on Trustpilot, and this website is really worth a try, so make sure to use my discount code KATE for extra 6% off. So kicking things off at number 1, we have the Kinetic Herald Stacker, which is an absolute monster of a build, and arguably the most broken setup I've seen in a recent memory. This thing is so overtuned that it probably won't survive another patch cycle. On paper it's insane. Over 20 million DPS, 12,000 physical hit cap, 40,000 elemental hit cap, as well as permanent 24% chill, then full elemental immunity and even energy shield over leech. And all of this is technically WoW on a budget. The secret sauce lies in the synergy between the Bloodline node, the Farewell to the Flesh, and the Kinetic Rain, the new wand skill that double overlaps its projectiles. Each herald will gain 2% more effect per 1% mana reserved, and when you're sitting at nearly 90% reservation thanks to the Herald of Thunder and Herald of Ice, then the numbers just go crazy. You'll start simple, so toss your heralds into the Honor of Home Helmet, then stack Empower and Elemental Focus, then slot in an Essence Worm to double dip on the scaling. And from there it's all about stacking Herald effect through the tattoos, cluster Jevels, and corruptions until your buffs will loop into themselves. Next up is a classic powerhouse, the Earthshatter Berserker. I've personally taken this build into the deep endgame multiple times, in both hardcore SSF and the trade league, and it remains one of the best all-around melee starters that you can pick. It's fast, it's brutal and surprisingly tanky. The Earthshatter Berserker will shine because it balances offense, defense and speed in a way that few melee builds can. During the campaign, you will focus on crafting solid physical weapons, so flat physical, percent physical and attack speed. You can even vendor craft them by using white or blue axes, then a blacksmith's whetstone and even a magic or rare item to guarantee the physical rolls. And then at that point just keep upgrading as you go, and you will tear through the story. Then, once you hit maps, you can gamble an axe from the fastest to get stack life, resistances and movement speed on your rares. And then our gameplay loop is pure melee satisfaction, so we slam through the maps, then press Blood Rage, and then maintain your exerted attacks, and slam your way through everything in a sight. It's simple, effective and scales beautifully into the endgame. And the best part is that it's hardcore viable, so easy to gear and it hits like a truck even on day 1 of the league. Then at number 3, we have the Archmage Hierophant that is using the transfigured Frostbolt of the Wind Ripper Blast. This build turns the Frostbolt into a rapid fire spell machine gun. With no cooldown and scaling entirely off the cast speed, it feels like a spell version of the Flicker Strike. Mapping with the setup is pure dominance, so Frostbolts will fill the screen, detonating packs instantly, while your Vortex of Projection will add overlapping explosions from the range. Instead of casting Vortex manually, it now interrupts from your projectiles, by letting you stay mobile and safe. I tried the Kitava Stairs trigger setup, but it just didn't feel consistent enough. The manual casting version wins out, so it's smooth, flexible and responsive. You wanna grab an echo of the acceleration shrine, and the gameplay goes into overdrive by turning into a spell Gatling gun. And then bossing is surprisingly solid. The overlapping dots from the Frostbolt and the Vortex will shred even the tankiest enemies. So overall, this build is flashy, fast and just insanely fun to play. The Wind Ripper Blast setup easily turns this build into the top 10. Next up is the Deck Stacker Venom Gyre build. It's one of the most stylish and satisfying builds in the entire game. It's fast, elegant and absolutely lethal. This setup scales both its damage and defenses directly from dexterity, by turning each point into the raw speed, poison power and evasion. You'll start with the Cobra Lash early for smoother leveling, and then swap into the Venom Gyre once you get Chain and the extra projectiles from the third lab. And that's when the magic happens. The Venom Gyre becomes the seamless blend of melee and projectile gameplay, slicing through the mobs, while your returning bleeds will sweep up the stragglers. The Venom Gyre thrives in content like Legion, Carbrigger and the Shang boxes, thanks to its insane clear speed and mobility. Evasion, spell suppression and flask sustain make it deceptively tanky too. No matter if you go Dex, Int or even ward stacking, the build adapts beautifully. The high mobility, smooth progression and incredible mapping efficiency makes this one of the most enjoyable playstyles this league. Then at number 5, we have the Energy Blade Inquisitor, which is a powerhouse of a hybrid build that turns your energy shield into the pure lightning offense. The beauty of its build is its adaptability. The Energy Blade skeleton can make almost any spell good. It starts strong on just few divines of gear and scales endlessly with investment. Early on, we rely on coruscating elixir to manage low life setups, which can be annoying, but the power payoff is absolutely worth it. Once you transition into the Ivory Tower, the build will unlock its full potential. So merging ES, mana and life sustain into a single unstoppable engine. You can play this in countless ways, so self-cast the Flame Blast for the huge AoV, then Penance Brand of Dissipation for the hybrid mobility, or Eye of Winter for the cast on crit setups for the burst single target. Each one of these rotations will feel like entirely new build, by stacking over the same powerful base. Then sliding into the number 6 is the Penance Brand of Dissipation Hierophant, which is one of the smoothest and most visually satisfying map builds in the game. You place your brands, they will attach to the enemies, you build up energy, and then explode in pulsing waves of destruction. It's elegant, fast, and scales incredibly well into the endgame. The Hierophant provides the perfect ascendancy synergy here. Mind over Matter and the Eldritch Battery together will give you a tanky sustain, and massive mana for auto reservation. You can run Zealotry, Discipline and Clarity, while still keeping plenty of defensive stacks active. Then the Brand Recall is your best friend. It lets you keep your brands active across entire packs, while repositioning safely. Mapping will also feel fluid, and bossing is all about timing and control. Once your brands hit the max energy, the explosion damage will be huge. Then at number 7, we got the Cyclone Gladiator Dexterity Stacker, also known as the Hollow Palm build. This setup takes the iconic Cyclone skill and strips away your weapons entirely, because who needs a sword when you can just punch the air fast enough to delete everything? Every point of our dexterity will boost our damage, attack speed and evasion. We will add Devoto's Devotion for even more speed and purity of elements for the full element immunity, and we are practically untouchable. The Gladiator's Ascendancy will provide block and bleed mitigation, while Flask Uptime and Raquel's Impatience boots will keep you immortal in motion. And the best part is that this is one of the fastest mappers in the game. You will spin, you will win, and everything else just gets deleted. Then number 8 goes to the Animate weapon of the Ranged Arms Necromancer, which is now fully remade thanks to the Bladefall of the Tartus. This new gem fix solves one of the build's biggest issues. No more manually casting Bladefall every few seconds. Now it continuously spawns blades, and keeping your Animate weapon uptime flawless. The build is ridiculously strong. Think of Poison SRS levels of power, but tankier and more flexible. It's hardcore viable, uber boss capable, and only requires minor gem swapping between mapping and bossing. Your main damage comes from the Animate weapon itself, backed by the Ray Spectre's Animate Guardian and Despair for the curse scaling. Convocation doubles also as offense and defense by pulling your minions into range and increasing the clear speed. Then coming in at number 9, we have the Poison Concoction of the Bouncing Pathfinder, which is the ultimate beginner-friendly build that also happens to dominate this meta. It's fast, deadly, and specifically immune to bad luck. And why? Well, because it doesn't need gear. You'll skill purely off your life, flask and the skill gems. Just stack life, resistances, and evasion, and you're good to go. You don't even need the weapon. This simplicity is exactly why top players will keep coming back to the Poison Concoction league after league. It's fast, efficient, and completely brain off to play. Pathfinder's Ascendancy will give you permanent flask uptime, massive movement speed, and great poison sustain. Even on day 1, this build will fly through the campaign faster than almost anything else. And then as you enter maps, you can pivot into other poison builds, like the Viper Strike of the Mamba or the Spark, and this will keep your investment relevant long term. And finally, at number 10, we have the Flicker's Chuck Frostblade Champion build, which is the most chaotic fun that you can legally have in Path of Exile 1. The Flicker is back in 3.27, faster, stronger, and more unhinged than ever. The build thrives in motion. You can teleport from enemy to enemy, chaining kills so fast that the screen can just barely keep up. The Champion's Ascendancy rework pushes the Flicker into the God tier territory by combining insane fortify stacking with massive attack speed bonuses, with the Beacon of the Madness for double damage potential, Perseverance for armor and evasion, and Master of the Metal for impale scaling. This build feels like a hurricane of steel.